My fellow riders, welcome to the Riding Journal. My name is Jason, and on this channel, I'm going to be posting videos of all the different places that I've ridden together with my friends, sometimes solo, and I hope that you'll enjoy some of these trips together with me. Before we go any further, please help me by subscribing to this channel so that I can make a lot more content for you based on the places that I've been to on two wheels. Now, for this episode, we are going to talk all about the EuroTrip. In October of 2023, 6 of us on 5 bikes traveled across the Alps from Germany to Austria to Switzerland and on through so many places through Europe. I can't wait to show you the footage of what we took and share with you some of the adventures that we had. We'll be releasing these videos in 4 chapters, and in each chapter we'll talk about the places that we have been, drop some tips and tricks for you, what we have learned along the way in our ride, and share with you some crazy stories of what we went through. Now, this first chapter is just a quick recap of all the places we went to in this trip. Enjoy it, and I'll check back in with you at the end of this video.
And this is automatically how it starts. And then if you want to go to navigation, you have to
There you go.
So the entire trip started in Ljubljana. That's the place where we rented these beautiful BMW machines and we headed off. However, on our first 2 days, it was really wet and rainy. As you can see, there was a low fog hanging over the mountains and the roads were pretty much wet. We were drenched all day, even as we reached higher up into the mountains. And it was really grateful for the gear that kept us dry throughout that time. Day 2 was still cloudy, still very wet. We headed up into the mountain passes at this point. We were getting more and more used to the entire wet scenario down here. We didn't know how many more days it would last. The locals were telling us that there were just these 2 days of wet and cold.
I'm okay, just damn cold.
Very wet and cold.
A lot of these rides right through the mountain passes were extremely cold and chilly. As you can see, a lot of our gear is still wet.
But we made it eventually.
Day 3, the sun came out. Nice, beautiful weather. Couldn't have been a better time as we hit a lot of the mountain peaks here and we rode through areas that were still pretty covered with frost and a bit of snow. Absolutely beautiful riding from that day onwards in terms of weather. Riding through the mountains is just such an interesting and exhilarating experience. I do think that it requires quite a lot of experience in terms of bike control. We'll talk a lot about that in our next few videos, but taking those hairpin turns and going through really tight corners on these big bikes were not easy.
We're doing the Andermatt North Alps.
We passed through many quaint little towns right through Europe as we went through Italy, as we went through Austria. Really beautiful little places where we stopped for meals along the way. And that's our group going up yet another mountain pass with switchbacks going back and forth like that all the way up the mountains.
We're right at the top of a Grimsel Pass.
Good morning from the Dolomites.
So we are here at the famous Delville Pass.
It looks challenging but fun.
Many days of really beautiful, gorgeous weather as we went through these Alps, coming back through the Italian Alps on the way.
I really enjoyed the last bit. That was the best ride for me.
And on the last few days, it started to get very forested, lots of greenery as we went slightly lower in terms of elevation. And we headed back towards Slovenia, which was our starting point in Ljubljana. We're still in Italy right now, but we just chanced on this beautiful lake out here. It's been an amazing ride so far. A lot of flowy turns right through the mountains.
It's a bit butt clenching, but very fun. I prefer the downhills to the uphills.
Bovec was the last stop where we actually went by a dried out lake.
No picture will do it justice.
Happy to pass by the very famous Lake Bled on the way back. We stopped by to go into the castle on a rowboat. We headed back to Ljubljana on the last day to return our bikes. What an epic adventure.
It was lovely, yeah. It's not over yet. I'm sure there's some more, right?
No, that's it.
Oh, that was a really good experience.
Thanks for joining us in the video so far. If you reached all the way to this point of the video, you must be pretty interested in bike riding or heading to Europe soon on your bike. I want to say a quick shout out and thank you to our sponsors, Regional Specialty, for sponsoring me some gear and equipment that helped me to make it through this trip. I have an entire episode dedicated to talking about how the gear and the equipment worked in the many different climates that we went through, from hot sun to blistering cold, to wind, to rain, to wetness. This gear really brought me through all that. I can't wait to talk about that in the next episode. But in the meantime, sit back and wait, because we are coming up with the next few episodes very shortly.